You are now listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast.
Because you know we gotta
You are getting it popping. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 8. And if you didn't know, my name is Paul. He is Stu, which clearly means that you are now listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast. Stu, what it do? A baby.
I don't know, man. You tell me, bruh. You tell me.
You want to hear something?
Yeah, I do. Of course I do.
Well, I just ate dinner.
Okay.
All right? That's it. And
Congratulations.
I did it. I consumed my dinner. And let me just tell you, I went to Souvlaki Hut. You ever been there?
Oof. It's a big time fave for me.
And let me just tell you, like, it's definitely not an authentic Greek joint. But the thing is, you don't always want an authentic Greek joint. You know what I mean? You want the fake feta. You want the double tzatziks.
Oh, yeah.
And that place knows how to make a fucking succulent chicken, man.
Well, it always comes with these guys as being like, anytime you're going to a restaurant of any ethnicity, those ethnic purists of it are always going to criticize it, right? Like they're always going to be like, even if it was made by an old nona who did it properly and the tzatziki comes with cucumbers from Mykonos, they're going to say, this is garbage. This is absolute garbage. And it doesn't matter who it is, right? Because they're just going to say it's not authentic, even if it is. Now, I'm not saying Souvlaki Hut is authentic.
It's definitely not. It's run by a bunch of Russians.
Well,
but they rip it.
They're grinding. They must make a few bucks, I guess. So that's all right.
No, man. But listen, I just wanted to tell you, it's a good treat. And I think that the souvlaki, the chicken skewer in a pita, is an underrated sandwich, man. You go get your ham and cheese sandwiches. You go, there's famous sandwiches, but I think that the souvlaki on a pita could actually be part of that whole organization of sandwiches.
Oh, easily. For me, a hero, that's it. I put that in that category. That's going to be in the top Sammy category. Yeah. If you're going for the strut down Bloor Street or Queen West or whatever, and you notice a place like that, you notice Souvlaki Hut or any type of Greek joint, getting a hero on a pita, man.
And the euro is it's kind of sus, right? In a way. And that's kind of the appeal. They're like, this is not a normally cut piece of meat, if you know what I mean, because you just kind of shave it off. And the truth is, you don't know what it is either. They're like, it's lamb, pork, other things. Don't worry about it.
It's the equivalent of a hot dog on a gigantic rotating device. You know what I mean? Because it's as you said, it's not like a piece of something. It's like a melange of all these different things. So in effect, it's just like a giant fucking sausage of all these ground up pieces of different types of meat, right?
That's why it's so dope.
Oh yeah, well, who doesn't like hot dogs? I mean, vegetarians and stuff, but
there's vegetarian hot dogs.
Well, yeah, well, there you go. Just basically compound a whole bunch of random shit and put it in some sort of lining and hoover it back. You're gonna have a good time.
You're gonna have a great time.
There's really no doubt about that.
And the way that they're making things now too, man, it's just you could probably dummy a 12-pack of vegan hot dogs and not even know. You probably thought, I thought those were fucking chicken. You know what I mean? Like chicken dogs or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the quality of that stuff is so good now. And I guess that would potentially even be an argument for a lot of vegetarians and stuff, that they're like, why have the meat? Because this stuff is so kind of good. Though, we won't get too deep into the nitty gritty of all of this, but I know. It's not real. I can always tell. But it does its thing and it serves a purpose in so many ways, but I know, okay? Your secret's not safe with me.
Listen, throw a little bit of tzatziki on it, and I'm going to be fucking mowing.
Oh yeah, you slather a tzatziki on a Timberland boot and you're gonna hoover that back.
Dude, wouldn't be that bad. Wouldn't be that bad.
Extra tongue? Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. I need that soul.
But speaking of this, and we don't want to dive too crazy into this whole food thing, but speaking of food, I was making dinner myself actually earlier on, and I went for a little nosh, which I never used to be into for many years, but over, I'd say, the past 4 or 5 years, I'm really into olives. Like, I'll just like get a container of olives and just take them back. Now, I want to ask you, and have you ever endured, or did you go through a process of olive evolution? Like, so basically, because when I first started getting into it, I was always like the green. I was like, blacks are so like weird and it looks kind of thing, and sometimes they're kind of shriveled and all this, and they're kind of standoffish. You know what I mean? And you have the green that looks more presentable. They're always kind of tougher and just kind of nice and crispy. Yep. But now I'm always on the black ones. And I'll have a green one if it's available, or just put it on a cracker or something. But my point being is that I found like, and because the flavor profiles are a little different, right? So I was wondering, have you ever gone through that, or with anything in kind of maybe a food sort of category where you were like, I like this kind of, because it got me. It's like a gateway fruit. Or a gateway vegetable. Like, you got into it, and then
Yeah, totally. And like, I have to say, getting into olives, like once I got over that hurdle, and it was pretty young, but it wasn't that young, right? Like, I wasn't some 6-year-old like hoovering fucking olives. Right. But 13, 14, I was just like, oh shit. Yeah. And that was a gateway. I guess it's a fruit if it's got a pit. I don't know the science. Anyways, it's definitely a gateway to trying out some other crazy shit. Or not even crazy, but stuff I wouldn't try. But listen, it started with the Kalamata black. And I guess they're kind of like a purplish hue. My dad would get them. They have a pit. And they're kind of like, they're lit. They're actually really fucking dope.
That's what I have down in the fridge, in the free go. And I'll just sit there in front of the TV, got the game on or something like that, and I'll just go through a whole container of those. Yeah,
so it's the Kalamata, then ventured off to green, and listen, tested all the olives from across the way, and now there's only 2, man, because I've grown up, I've made the decisions in my life, and so it's a hollowed out Kalamata, so we're talking pitless. Yeah. Pitless in Seattle.
Yeah,
exactly. And then a fucking stuffed green with red pepper. And I know I might get some hate on that one, but those 2 mixtures, I'm in heaven.
Is it red pepper, or is it like a pimento or whatever?
Who knows?
Whatever that is.
You are now listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast.
Stu, are you familiar with Shpants?
Not me personally, but yeah, I know what they are.
Like you could visualize what they look like right now?
I can visualize several forms of them.
So Shpants, which is probably exactly what the folks are picturing in their minds right now, are like short pants or pant shorts. So like long, I guess, shorts.
Yeah.
But like they look like pants from the top. Like, it's hard to explain, you know what I mean? Like, they go over the knee, but like longer than like cargo shorts. They're pretty stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a whole bunch of different versions of Shpants, and that's what I mean. Like, because you've got the like capris, which are basically like what they cut off at your shin. So they're almost like form fitting and then cut off at your shin, right? Yeah. Like high up flood pants or something. Then you've got, as you said, those cargos, and especially if you're putting anything in cargo shorts.
Oh yeah,
that's not staying on your waist, guaranteed. Like that's going way down.
You're gonna pants yourself.
You're gonna pants yourself, and then you've got like the basketball shorts, which are oversized, right? Like. They don't like look like pants as much as like a capri, but they're definitely over the knee, like you said. And all of this, and I'm sure there are other examples that our viewers, our listeners can tell us about, all of these are unacceptable. especially for anyone over the age of 17. Like if you're over
you're already pushing it at 17.
You're pushing it, but if you're over the age of 17, your shorts cannot go past your knees. It's just, it's as simple as that. And I'm not saying you've got to have some, thigh-high jorts, but it's got to be a nice fit that comes up, gives you a nice little sort of buffer action between top of kneecap to quad.
Yeah. No. That's perfect. You laid it out perfect. If you can get a nice little cuffer going on top of the knee, you've basically made it. Let me tell you a quick story. I traveled, I backpacked in Europe when I was 20 years old by myself. I was in Italy one time and met up with a friend, and they were in school there. So they had like a group of friends. So I remember it was the first night I was meeting everybody, shaking hands, and this guy rolls up and he's spantsing. He's like spantsing out of control. He's in a full he's in Shpant mode.
But this is in Europe.
Yeah, but he was a Canadian in Europe.
Oh, well, so there you fucking go.
Okay, so he was a Canadian in Europe, spantsing hard. The spants was out of control. He had, listen to this, cutoffs, like a cutoff shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, so cutoff shirt, spants, and then naturally socks.
Yeah.
And Crocs.
Yeah.
And that's the look, man. That's the Spank culture.
It is an egregious offense to any sort of fashion, let alone being in Europe and do it. However, you could always point out the stupid fucking North American out there because they look like that, right? He's probably got some backwards hat with a Vancouver Canucks cut off. He's spantsing and he's got the socks and jandals, and you're going, buddy, like, hit one of the flea markets and go get yourself sorted out ASAP. Drop €60 and let's, I'm not saying go hit the Champs-Élysées and go get some Louis Vuitton, straight from the source, but I'm saying you got to look somewhat presentable, because on all of that point, the Europeans look and they're like, oh yeah, like, no shit, right? Like, it's this fucking guy. Because like some stupid American or some stupid Canadian. And usually, and if you're anybody who has any sense, such as maybe people like yourself and me, you will avoid them like the plague. And the second, if they ask for directions or something in English, you're going to respond in French and get the hell out of there, because you don't want to be associated with a guy like that. They're going to say, oh, you're friends with the Spancer? Oh, fuck. I never met this guy in my entire life, brother. I don't want anything to do with the Shpants. When you come off the plane and you get to Europe, bro, you are speedoing. You have got a Brazilian,
Even as a guy. You got a Brazilian yourself.
Even as a guy, you got it, you're waxing up your butt crack and the whole nine just to make sure you look primo. Because if you're going to go hit the beach like that, if you're going to go hit the beach with like some, like, I don't know, Volcom board shorts or something.
Nah.
I mean, again, if you're like 16 and you're super into skateboarding and things like that, groovy. But that's pretty much the extent of it right there. And I'm not trying to disrespect Volcom here or anything like that. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm just trying to say that there becomes a certain level where you have to be slightly more aware of your age appropriate dressing. I think we've talked about in the past about weather appropriate dressing. Age appropriate dressing is almost even bigger, because you can tell usually, like, put a fitted on somebody, automatically they drop down to a teenager.
Yeah, like you don't see a lot of dads in their late 40s, walking down the street in like basketball jerseys, or like, I don't even know. Sometimes you do, though. That's the problem. Sometimes you do see people just living in the straight up past, and they're like rocking like their skateboard outfit from 1998 or something like that. It's nuts.
Usually that's in a small town, because it's for some reason they didn't get the internet or something, where they're still
They're still
wearing
on dial-up. They're still on dial-up.
They're still going to like the local shop and like getting all sort Mark Echo and
prepaid phones.
Prepaid phone cards and oversized jerseys and ball caps and stuff like that. And like, listen, pretty much if you're not, you know, a professional ball player or going to some sort of sporting event, you shouldn't be wearing that shit, man. And the same goes for like jerseys of any sort. You know what I mean? You're going to the TFC game or wherever if you're somewhere else and this and that. I get it. But like rocking just the jersey, like you're going to like a nice function in a jersey of any sort. I mean, that's no different than a shoes on party, man. You're getting kicked the fuck out.
You made me remember something. I had this like weight set that I never used.
Yeah.
And I put it on Craigslist, and some dude came to pick it up and buy it off me. And he came from Barrie.
Oh yeah.
Barrie, Ontario.
I know exactly what he looks like. You don't even have to describe.
So check it out. Then let me see if we can already picture this, all right?
Okay.
Covered in tats.
Yep.
One of them was on his neck and was the DC logo.
Okay.
Okay, so we could just start right there. Hat backwards, red beard, cutoffs, whole bunch of jewelry on the wrists and whatever, shorts, DC shoes. I don't know what that brand has done to like middle America and like the suburbs or whatever it is, but they're crushing it. They are crushing it with that demographic. And guess what he did for a living?
Some sort of like construction, roofing, or truck oriented thing.
He was a manta ray farmer, like stingray. You know stingrays, like from the ocean.
Where the fuck are there stingrays in Barrie?
He has a pool, and he farms them in his backyard. And he bought these weights because he didn't have time to go to the gym.
You know what he also is? A liar. He doesn't have any fucking manta rays. This lying piece of shit. You know,
was he trying to impress me?
Yeah. He was like, hey, by the way, got these Bowflexes on me. And by the way, I'm a manta ray farmer. You're like, first of all, how do you farm wild animals that are especially meant for like water when A, you're in Barrie and you don't have any water, B, you try to get one of those things. I'm sure that is some sort of like crime against animal cruelty or crime against humanity or some sort of WWF thing charge. Like if you're just like, yeah, I'm going to go drive down to, I don't know, Pensacola, Florida or something, and I'm going to steal a bunch of manta rays and drive them up to Barrie. It's going to take me 2.5 days. I guarantee you the FBI and the fucking CSIS is going to get involved because you've crossed state borders and country borders and stuff like that. Of ripping off a bunch of wild animals.
Yeah. But if you're interested in a manta ray, I do have 30% off. Yo. So I got a story for you.
Okay.
So I went to get a haircut some time ago. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the barber at that time, because I switched barbers, RIP. Not that he's dead. I just, you know how it goes with barbers. You know what I mean? Yeah. And anyways, at the time I was seeing this barber and he was cutting my hair and he was telling me this story. He's like, hey, had an interesting weekend. I'm like, okay. Give me the details. And he's telling me how his girlfriend was seeing an old friend of hers and that together they were driving up north, on North Ontario, because that's where she lived now. I'm like, okay. And so he said within 10, 15 minutes, he's having a drink, he's sitting down, he realizes it's all women. Okay. Mm-hmm. But he's like, whatever, enjoy your time. But he's sitting and the owner of the house, so the friend, starts a circle of chairs. Okay. And all the women, including and him, I guess, are sitting, and it just turns into an Arbonne pitch. And if you know what Arbonne is, it's like a cosmetics Ponzi scheme. So this girl saying, oh, it's been so long. I haven't talked to you in so long. Come over for drinks this weekend. Throw in a party. Yeah. Bring your boyfriend. And then she's like, fucking right. I got 18 prospects. Let's get this pyramid going, baby. So my question is, like, have you ever been a part of that? Have you almost witnessed yourself fall into a pyramid scheme?
Have I ever been a part of a Ponzi retreat?
Yeah.
Like that was like the way that they were phrasing it. They were like, maybe get everybody to like to do ayahuasca and then get them all to buy a bunch of cosmetics. I've actually never fallen through that because I'm so cynical and I just am so misanthropic. I just don't just hate people and I just don't trust them for the most part anyway. Though I have seen a lot of people fall into that. Even some people we know have been involved in various forms of these things. And man, it seems to be like without fail. I mean, like, fortunately enough, I don't have like any of those real social medias and stuff like that. And Facebook, I know, is like one of the like biggest ones for like, apparently everybody just always says, if you get a message from like an old high school friend, expect it to be a Ponzi scheme. Like there's it's just like, there's no way about it. They're like, hey, how you doing? Haven't talked to you since high school. And then you're like, oh, pretty good. I'm doing this and I'm getting married and blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, by the way, are you looking to make $50? And like, you want to like
Google ads?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're like, okay, blocked and deleted. I mean, I get rid of that person because you know exactly what the hell, where this is going.
It's no good, man. Listen, first of all, I'm sure people have had positive experiences, probably made some money. Who knows? They do a really good job probably convincing people to get into their tribe or cult or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And who knows? Some of these products might not be so bad. Like, isn't Arbonne lipstick good? Maybe. Who knows? But like, I was in college once and my buddy, a college buddy, meaning like, how you always had like one or two friends that you had the same classes with. I remember he just, he's sitting next to me and out of nowhere, he's just like, yo, I'm like, sup? He's like, you ever think about financial freedom? And I'm like, yeah.
You're like, no, I've never thought about that at all, buddy.
Yeah. He's like, listen, come with me tonight. We're meeting this guy. We got this group. It's at what's it called? One of the Firkins out here. Grab some wings. We'll talk. So I did it. I showed up. And then when I saw the address, and I like, this was a long time ago. I didn't have a car. It was like
in a dungeon and everybody was wearing cloaks and there was a pentagram on the ground and then laid out across the pentagram were a bunch of candles. And they're like, hey guys, we're selling candles.
It was similar like that. They had to take a little bit of my blood, right? And then like, he saw some like doctor in the back and just store it into like a suitcase,
sacrifice each new member of the group.
Oh yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I had to take the bus to like Donlands or something. If y'all are from Toronto, it ain't fun.
If you trying to take the bus there.
No one's trying to take the bus there. It was a huge mistake. Anyways, we show up there, I meet the group, and then within 5 minutes, I caught on. I can't believe I was so stupid. I'm like, you guys are getting hustled, right? And they're all talking about financial freedom. We're going to get rich. We're going to get fucking rich. Woo! We don't need to fucking finish school. We're in a fucking pyramid scheme. That's it. And like, I left. And like, I remember the guy gave me these eyes like, you're trying to fuck up my whole operation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's when I learned, I'll get a real job.
Well, but that's one of those things, right? It's like it's all about like get rich quick schemes for these people, right? Or because I would assume that most of these people, and I don't want to generalize too hard because, everybody's got their own trials and tribulations, but for the most part, they probably don't have that work ethic ingrained in them for a normal job because they see the sort of glamour of potentially maybe this guy who is like offering it up and being like, yo, be a part of the club. He's got a nice car, this and that. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get rich and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, dude, just get a fucking normal job like the rest of us. You know what I mean? Because the amount of work that you're doing.
It's probably a ton of work. It's probably a ton of work.
The amount of work that you're doing conning people, you could just get a regular job and make the same amount of money.
Unless, and sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, it's all right.
Some people find their spark. And maybe their spark is being a con man.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking shit. Like maybe I love this shit.
And doing 5 to 7 in the Kingston Penitentiary for conning.
He's just like, I'm going to sell all of these different types of kitchen knives.
Straws, knives, candles, cosmetics. They will just sell abso-fucking-lutely everything and anything they can get their hands on.
It's pretty amazing. Oh, I didn't finish the story. Anyways, the barber left, and he's telling me, he's just like, and I'll be honest, man, I almost was convinced.
Oh yeah, he almost got
he was just like, I was going to be the first male Arbonne salesman in North Ontario. He's just like, I thought about it on the drive home, honey, what's wrong? What are you thinking about? Are you cheating on me? And he's just like, should I just give up this whole barber thing and
start a new life?
Yeah. And he's just like, so it's just like he said, like, maybe this was meant for some people, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe they pitched it also to be cool, right? Like they got Henry Winkler to be the poster boy, Arthur Ponzarelli to do a Ponzi scheme. You know what I mean? Make it look really cool and get people like into it and thinking it's not
a Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi, like they're trying to say, because now don't they not call it a Ponzi scheme now anyway? It's called like multi-level marketing. So they've changed the name. The PC police have gotten on top of it and been like, hey, Ponzi is derogatory against certain groups. So we call it multi-level marketing.
Yeah. It's very sophisticated. and it's nothing like the other things we were doing with these Ponzi schemes. It's changed. The game's changed. Yeah.
It's not like taking money from one guy and then paying another guy back in order to take money from another guy and continue the cycle.
It's multi-level marketing. Bro. You want financial freedom? Because if you want financial freedom, I'll tell you what you got to do. Well, you need multi-level marketing.
Well, that's the thing is that they got, it was offensive to all the Italians. They're like, yo, bro, why you calling it a Ponzi scheme?
What, do I look like some Ponzi?
What, do I look like a Ponzi to you? Do I look like Fredo?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had to rephrase the whole thing to get people on board, because there was probably there's so much Twitter backlash after a while of being like, Ponzi, man. Ooh,
that Ponzi.
That's a P word.
Yeah. I also feel bad for, the oblivious parents that maybe named their son Ponzi. They're like, it's such a beautiful name. Fucking rotted. He definitely uses his middle name if he has one. And when someone in high school finds out his real name, college is ruined.
That's the type of shit where like he's gonna try to become like a senator or something, and then they're gonna dig deep into his personal file, and then they're gonna find out his last name is actually Ponzarelli, and they're gonna be like, yo, Ponzi, he was a part of a Ponzi scheme, and then they'll blow it all out of proportion, and he's like, well, my life's done.
That's it for me, man. I think I'm gonna start a career in multi-level marketing. All right, brother, let's get into the Would You Rather.
Would you rather? Would you rather?
Okay, once again, this week's Would You Rather is incredibly stupid. But listen, it's very important. So check it out.
Yeah.
Would you rather die from a hawk attack or any other predatory bird, or die via an African stampede?
What about a Tony Hawk attack?
What would he do?
He's just doing 900s all over and knocking your melon off your neck.
You just get hit with a quick 900 and that's it?
Yeah, just melon grab and then just splits you in half.
Oh yeah, just mute to fakie. or instead of African stampede, you just run into a bunch of fucking cowboys from Calgary and they just beat the shit out of you.
It's a Tony Hawk attack or a Calgary stampeder.
One's a rager, the other one is gnarly.
Dude, I'm gnarly.
Dude. Yeah, I'm gnarly.
I don't know. I think all of them, including the Calgarians and Mr. Hawk, It's all gonna be a painful death.
Well, I've been thinking about the bird for a while, right? And there's different scenarios in which I think dying by an eagle attack would be okay, but other times where it wouldn't. So I feel like, listen, a hawk, an eagle, one of those fuckers, pterodactyl, whatever it is, they start pecking at you. Right?
Yeah, that was my concern.
In the unless you get a good one in the jugular or something like that, but they're probably gonna fuck with you, right?
Yeah,
They're like, this guy's ours. Now, eagles, I've seen this video on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. And these eagles sometimes they hang around the mountains and they see like a mountain goat. And they go down, they grab it and just throw them off the mountain, and then it gets tenderized and like fucking dope. We got goat tonight, fellas.
So they're kind of like cooks. They're like
they're
chefs.
prepping. They're prepping.
They're prepping. So they first fly over, right?
Yeah.
And then he drops a little Himalayan salt on the goat.
As well.
And then and then he picks up, as we said, a couple olives or veggies or whatever, and drops those on the goat. Then he picks up the goat, flings him off the mountain, falls down, tender, just off the bone, right off the skin or flesh or whatever, fur, and then he starts chomping down.
So I would take that one because they'd lift me off and I'm like, okay, I'm actually dying by mountain.
Well, if I know I'm going to good use, that at least gives me some sort of consolation.
Also, you want to feel wanted. You know what I mean? Like they're like, this eagle family is taking me out, but fuck, what a spread.
I'm nourishment. Thank you.
I'm going to feed the future of these eagles.
Yeah. Good luck. Except for the thing is that what they do to those corpses afterwards is fucking gnarly, bro. Like you just see those like
carcasses.
The
vultures come, they swoop.
Yeah, because I think it would be several tiered. You'd first have like the eagle or hawk or whatever, and then the falcon, and then you've got the vultures, then you got the crows, and they just start pecking. I forgot about them. Yeah, and then they just start pecking away, and it's not like, I think like if you get run over by an elephant, that's pretty much a wrap. Like that would be an instant death. Like if one of his, I don't know how big those fucking feet are, but they're pretty fucking big.
If it lands on your face, I think you're pretty much going to heaven or hell immediately.
I think you turn to dust. Like if it steps on you, like a fart in the wind.
Now here's the question. Okay, let's move on to the stampede. This is really important stuff now.
Yeah.
All right, so you're in a stampede. Let's list some of the animals that partake in an African stampede. Because remember, it's not an elephant stampede. There's many different types of animals. You might get some wild boars, right? They might scratch you a little bit. That sucks.
Yeah.
Then maybe there's a pack of zebra.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
They'll for sure give you a bunch of Charlie horses. They might fuck you up, actually, now that I think about it. And then you got a loose giraffe. Oh, yeah. And I think they could really do some damage for sure. Like if you catch a leg in the face.
Oh yeah. I would say that based on size, strength, and power alone, going for the stampede is going to be the quickest death.
Oh, I forgot about a fucking rhino, man.
Oh yeah. You get impaled by one of those?
You know what? I don't fuck with that. The stampede that I would need to be killed by can't have rhinos.
Yeah, can I choose my stampede?
Yeah, I want to choose the animals in my stampede.
You go and talk to your buddy with the manta rays and say, by the way, do you have any stampedes over here? I need to see your roster before I start to get stomped out by all these animals.
What do you know about rhinos?
Yeah. You want to give any sort of backstory?
Sorry. That would be fucked.
What?
Manta ray stingray death. You go visit your friend, check up on the weights in Barrie. He says, "Hey, you want to see the babies?"
Yeah.
Quick one push. Didn't that famous dude die that way?
Yeah, the crocodile hunter or whatever.
He got too close.
Yeah, he got too close and it just zapped him, and because I think that shit is, I mean, I don't know what type of death that would be, but fucked up. Yeah. Either way.
Not the best.
But maybe that dude with the manta rays, and I mean, I guess we'd have to look at the difference between what the fucking difference is of a manta ray and a stingray.
Maybe one's really nice.
Yeah, maybe the manta ray is like super sweet and chill.
like he's just like the animal version of like a Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like he just wants to chill.
Because I think like a lot, I mean, like you could take like snakes, for example, or a lot of, I mean, there are tons of different animals that you're like, one is like super like venomous or lethal. And then another one is like, looks more or less the exact same, but is like super cuddly or whatever. And so that's why you're always kind of like on the lookout with this sort of shit. Right? Because I remember, okay, so here's a quick story. I remember I was out hanging out with a buddy in Brisbane, which... obviously in Australia, which they have so many poisonous and venomous and just lethal insects and reptiles and all sorts of shit, right?
Everything's trying to kill you, man.
Exactly.
You leave your door and they're just waiting.
And they're just nipping at the butt. But yeah. So we were hanging out and I saw this like little snake go by, and I was like, oh, look at this. Like, so my buddy, I was like, oh man, that's like, look, this is cool. Like a little snake here. I mean, we have our little gardener snakes and stuff here, but like nothing. Yeah. And this one wasn't even gigantic or anything anyway. And so then I was like, that's pretty cool. And he was like, oh shit, get away. That's a brown snake. And so brown snakes, they are like the most deadly snake on the planet. And if they bite you, your blood coagulates. And so it turns into gelatin, and then you just fall over fucking dead, right? And so like, but it was not like, it's just as exactly the term. It's like this kind of brownish, dark khaki-ish kind of snake that's like not big, you know, not a minnow, but not big. And you're just like, you would think it's non-threatening, and he's just like, hello, who wants to die today? Oh, you?
Okay. Here's a question. These venomous snakes, do you think they struggle to get girl snakes because of the poison? So imagine there's like a venomous snake. He's got amazing, I don't know how you call it, scales.
Yeah.
Nice coat. A beautiful coat of scales, you know? Other like women, everyone, male, women, snakes looking like, look at that motherfucker's scales. But then he's just like, listen, I can't make out with you, baby, because I'll kill you.
I mean, I don't really know the reproductive functions of snakes. I think they might be asexual, actually, aren't they?
No clue.
Yeah, me neither. Either way, I'm just not really down with snakes altogether.
Yeah, I don't fuck with snakes. All right, forget the stampede.
Yeah.
Forget the hawk attack. Imagine, okay, this isn't even a would you rather. Just imagine dying in a snake pit. That would be the worst because half the snakes maybe not, poison. You don't know which ones are poisonous. Some of them are those big ass anacondas that like they'll legit just like strangle you. And god damn, you might be there for a long time.
That's the problem. Is I think like to categorize all of these, scenarios. The stampede is going to be almost instantaneous.
Yeah, I'll take the stampede.
Like you're just going to get you're going to get squashed. Yeah. And then they're going to continue on their run down the sub-Saharan Africa or whatever. Where a snake, that guy might be choking you for days. Also, when those snakes, they eat something and you could just see the whole thing going down its gullet for weeks or something. I don't know what they put in mice. I've heard stories that with snakes, okay, and then this is a whole different topic of conversation anyway, snake people, right? There's those people who had snakes as pets and stuff. Oh. That's a spicy meatball right there. But sometimes they let people they let their snakes sleep with them in their beds and stuff, and apparently there's I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or urban legend or whatever, but the snakes sometimes would stretch out next to them and stuff like that, so they would just think, I guess their snake's being cute. I mean, who the fuck thinks there's a cute snake? But what I've heard is what snakes actually tend to do, because they're such fucking predators, that they're sizing you up and they're being like, I think I could chow this guy right now. Yeah. Cause he's about 5'11" and I'm about 6'2" with my fully unfurled. I could take him. And I swear to God, if I fucking saw a snake coming at me like that with his fucking gob open, I don't know what the hell I would do, man. I would just get out a butcher's knife and just chop them up into little pieces and make sushi. Because, like, that shit is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, so hands down, snake pit, the worst. Take the stampede any day. The hawk death, just too unpredictable. Too many variables.
Yeah, too many variables.
And I mean, yeah, snake sushi. I think it probably exists. Okay, folks, let's get into the You Rotted. All right, folks, welcome to You Rotted. This is the segment where you guys send us an email, send us a tweet, send us an Instagram, hit us up on YouTube, and you send us stories of times where you rotted. Stu, what you got for me?
Man, so all of our conversation about the whole Ponzi scheme stuff got me thinking. Mm-hmm. And I think it sort of pertains to this story very appropriately because it's sort of the uncertainty of it. Now, It got me thinking about cryptocurrency, right? How everybody for like the longest time as well was like this shit's a joke, right? And now it's like worth, especially like Bitcoin is worth an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah.
And then like all these other ones are like popping up and, you know, everybody's been saying for like the longest time, oh man, this shit's going to break or whatever.
It's a fad. Yeah.
It's a fad and it's a joke and how can they do this? And, you know, I've even been hearing whispers about like full like governments and stuff starting to figure out how they can adapt to it and start using it.
Oh yeah.
But that's a whole separate conversation. So this particular You Rotted story happened to my wife. And again, because you're not going to know what the hell is going on. You're not going to have the foresight of this stuff unless you're like a true gambler. And I think few of us really are.
Right.
But anyways, she was selling a rug. She's Persian and she's got a ton of beautiful Persian rugs, like authentic, you know,
the real deal.
The real deal. And so she was selling one off as she was doing some purging. And I'd say this was several years ago. We might have been dating, but I'm not 100% sure. But so she puts it up on Kijiji and for $1,500 and this guy emails and says, love the rug. Do you accept Bitcoin? And she's like, get a load of this fucking dude. Take a hike. Right. And
how many Bitcoin was it?
For the whole thing, 1,500.
Oh no.
Yeah. So now looking back at it now, I don't know.
I can do the math real quick.
Yeah, do the math real quick, but I think that's worth like 50K Bitcoin or something. Like that would be like, you know, $7 million or something like that.
Well, it was so 1,500.
Yeah.
Times, and Bitcoin in Canadian is $66,000. We're talking about $93 million.
Jesus fucking Christ. So you you hit the power
rotted.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that is probably the biggest rot of all time, or maybe not of all time, but like of our sort of lives. I mean, that's like winning the fucking Powerball, or
dude,
not.
That's like
the lottery of some sort.
That's winning the lottery solo. Like you won the Grand Slam by yourself, not with a pool of friends or whatever it is. It's just like you were the big ticket winner.
Yeah,
and like she's gonna be, and you, I guess, are gonna be telling this story till you die, dude. A priest might show up to her like, you know, deathbed. He's like, do you have any last words for Jesus? And she's like, invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I've got her love, so that's all that really matters, right? We don't need money, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's true. It's on her epitaph. It's going to say, didn't get in on the ground floor on
Missed
Bitcoin.
out on 1,500 Bitcoin. And all I had is this fucking Persian rug.
Yeah, and I think she probably sold it off. Is the kicker, right? Like I think she ended up selling off the rug for $1,500, or you know, these things are even negotiable.
Sure.
So probably ended up getting like, isn't this the same story as that dude? There was like a third, because there was Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and then like a third dude in Apple, and the guy was like because they were working out of like Steve Jobs' garage or something.
Right.
And they put all their money into it. And this was in the 80s, I guess. I forget the guy's name. And then he needed to pay his fucking mortgage because his wife was going, listen, we're going flat broke here, and I don't know what the hell's going on with whatever bullshit fruit company you're starting here. and so he bought out for like $33,000 at that time, which I guess would still be okay. It'd be $125,000 now or something. And then lo and behold, I think they did the calculation, it'd be worth 7.1 bill or something if he held on to the stocks, right? It's that sort of thing where you're like, we're such a situational species that we're, especially if you're rational or pragmatic, you're going to be like, well, this fucking dude is going to give me Bitcoins, whatever the hell those are. Or like, I'm going to get my $1,500 from somebody with real money, and then I'm going to like pay like my rent. And then lo and behold, you got nothing in the grand scheme of it.
Oh my God, man. And this cryptocurrency stuff is kind of pissing me off a lot because
you're looking for financial freedom.
Listen, I want financial freedom and I don't want to be a part of no multi-level marketing. However, that you have these 16, 17-year-olds who invested in cryptocurrencies when they were 13. This is why I'm pissed off about being my age. Mm-hmm. The generation before us are going to all be rich. And there's absolutely no like reason not to have money if you're from the generation before, like living through apps and internet and fucking, imagine like investing in Bitcoin when you were 13 years old, working from an ice cream store and now being having $93 million and being the crypto king and selling fucking courses online to a bunch of schmucks being like, you could be a crypto king too. Just follow what I did. All I need is, this $1,500 for this course. Well,
and I think it goes a little bit to our earlier point about the sort of the drive for, work ethic, the drive for that sort of get rich quick scheme, which makes for people nowadays, and in particular the youth, like it's more almost, and I was thinking about it earlier on, it's more almost desirable to have a menial job than a regular job, right? So for like a long time, everybody was like, oh, I want a super cool job that's like fulfilling. So I want to be in marketing or PR or a copywriter or a designer or something like that, because you're like, my day is going to be filled with all this like meaningful, fun, creative stuff. And everybody else is kind of a schlub. But now people are more inclined to want to go for the like more menial positions, say a security guard, because they just want to be on their phone doing all this shit anyway. So in effect, you're getting paid to be sitting at a chair for 10 hours a day, and all you're doing is making TikTok videos and looking up Dogecoin versus actually trying to do something quote unquote stimulating or fulfilling. I mean, it's that they're kind of that's their sort of ticket to their own success, right? As opposed to trying to fill it up with things that like are more preoccupying of your day, that actually are tasks. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. I worked at this place and there was like a in-house, what do you call it? It was like a marché, there's like a guy cooking a stir fry. There's a sandwich station. It was pretty crazy actually. I was pretty blessed to work there. But there's this guy, I'd see him every day because I always hit up the stir fry section and we would talk because we like soccer and stuff like that. But he was on the same path, man. He's like, I'm just here fucking murking these stir fries and don't you worry about it. I'm going to find financial freedom by setting up my Amazon store and I'm going to be reselling items and I'm going to be on a beach in Jamaica in 3 to 5 years. And he looked me dead in my eyes and he's like, this is my plan. I'm here. And you know what? I fucking hope he got it. I hope he did it. I hope he's in Jamaica right now and just like, I did it. I became someone, I resold fucking.
He stared into the windows of your soul and was just like, I'm going to be a somebody and you can count on that, eh?
And do you want garlic in your stir fry?
I mean, that would be super. That would be super sick to find out what happened. I mean, I guess it's one of those things similar to obviously like winning the lottery or becoming, an athlete or a celebrity or anything like that. It's such a small fraction. And now, not to say it's like impossible, right? But for every billion people who are like, I'm going to be the new crypto king, there are only like, what, 2 of those people that actually do anything with it?
Oh, yeah. Here's the problem with all this shit, man. Like, it's hot right now, right? Everyone's spending money. They're probably going to lose money because they didn't get in early. And then this shit is all going to die off, or, the people already got rich and sold the shit off. So that's not worth it, man. So maybe test the waters a little bit, see what this shit is going on. But like, I wouldn't be like, all right, baby, we're taking out a line of credit for $25,000. I'm putting it straight into fucking Dogecoin, and let's cross our fingers here. We're making it big time. Woo.
Well, because I think it's like the reverse situation, right? So it's like if someone says, hey, I'm going to pay you in 1,500 Bitcoins for this rug. And you're like, kick rocks, pal. Like, I need real money. And then you look at it with, hindsight, and you're like, blah, 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 hindsight 2020. That sucks. Could be rich or whatever. Versus if your husband or wife came home and was like, babe, I just spent all of our life savings on this thing called Bitcoin, and it's supposed to be fucking huge. And then it tanks.
Yeah.
You're getting dumped immediately. Divorced. She's going to take.
She's taking custody.
Taking custody. Anything, because you just seem absolutely reckless, right? Like you seem like you're just not even put together whatsoever. And it's like, I can't trust a guy like this who's going to piss away all of our life savings on something called cryptocurrency.
Yeah, what do you think? He's some crypto king?
What's that, from Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, who is this crypto guy? On the flip side, though, watch, she leaves, maybe Bitcoin tanked for a little bit, and then before you know it, it was back up, and you're walking out with 93 mil. Guess who's knocking?
Yeah, and that's the main thing, is you got to make sure you win after the divorce papers go through, because then she can't take half, right? So it's a strategic play, and as we all know, the market ebbs and flows, my friend. Ebbs and flows.
Well, my friend, I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you from the bottom of my heart, because you need to hear it, and most importantly, your wife needs to hear it. I want to say congratulations, because you brought it. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes episode 8. We're approaching the Big 10. Really pumped for that one. We want to thank you for all of your support. And if you want to support us even more, please follow us on YouTube. And by follow, I mean subscribe. We got to get them subscribers up. You hear me? Hit us up on Instagram. We're posting almost daily or bi-daily, whatever that is. And yeah, listen, if you got a You Rotted story, don't hesitate. Send us an email to fiercekingz@gmail.com. And that's it, man. Stu, do you have anything to say?
Just wanted to let all those listeners out there in the broadcast, podcast, radio world know you are now